So I've talked in a number of videos about what my perfect camera would look like. As you might be able to tell from all my recent videos here on YouTube, I've pretty much tried every major camera brand, and in particular, their sort of everyday carry compact solutions. I've got my medium format photography stuff figured out, more on that in another video. And so I really am still trying to figure out my perfect everyday carry, travel camera. If I'm being completely honest with myself, I think the camera manufacturer that's made the cameras closest to what I'm looking for is Fujifilm. This is an X-T4 here, so you've got to imagine it's an X-T2 or an X-T5. But it's got cool kind of retro styling, and I don't care as much about the retro styling. I want a compact camera that I can carry on my body and not have it be too heavy for like long periods of time. So but cool retro styling, some grip to it, but also some vibes, some cool look to it, so you could wear it with a nice outfit. Maybe people come up to you and say, "That's a cool looking camera," Lots of tactile features. I love these spinny dials here, and then the exposure triangle at your fingertips. Aperture on the lens, ISO on one dial, shutter speed on the other. On top of that, on Fuji cameras, there's two press-in dials on the front and back of the camera, which I love. And then on the back, there's a joystick. This camera has interchangeable lenses, and Fuji lenses are great optically. There's a whole set of lenses, sort of the older lenses that have a bunch of character, and this newer line really keeps Fuji up in terms of modern rendering, clean rendering, image quality. Kind of like you would get with most like Nikon S-line lenses or Canon red ring lenses. Fuji also has like the X Pro and X100 line that meets these same criteria. The tactile dials, all three elements of the exposure triangle on here, although to change ISO on here, you take this dial and spin it around, so it's a little bit trickier, but no big deal. And then on Fuji's photography first models, you have the flip out screen, which I love so much. It's so rad. So why am I not all in on Fujifilm cameras? I mean, I have a couple of nits with the cameras, like the sensor is unprotected when you change lenses. There's no way to get the shutter to come down to protect the sensor and keep dust off of it when you're changing lenses. But primarily, it's really for two reasons. One, they underpower their EVFs. Even on the X-T5, it's like a 3-point-something dot EVF, and the screen is really small. For me, an EVF's got to be at least 5-point-something dots before you can really use it for manual focusing, Also, like the color rendition on their EVF and screens is not great. It's not super accurate. And then I know people love the film simulations, and I get it's a lot of fun, but for me, it leaks into the raw files, and I want a clean, color accurate raw file that looks like real life as I saw it, and then I can make it funky and film simulation-y. I don't want to start and have to take that out. But having said all that, the biggest issue I have with Fuji cameras, and it's not their autofocus. To me, the autofocus is close enough, at least for photo. It's that these are crop sensor cameras, and I shoot a lot at night and in low light situations. And full frame sensors just give you so much more dynamic range in those situations. Finally, I am a little concerned that Fuji has lost the plot. As I mentioned, their autofocus isn't the best, and they haven't really fixed it, even though there was a massive YouTube, social media, hate war firebombing about it. They still haven't really fixed it, And it just kind of feels like they're focused more on those camera curious consumers buying their instant cameras, those Instax cameras, and then cheaper $800 vlogging cameras. The XM5 is super cool, but it's not a serious camera. It's not for a serious photographer, right? And they're moving away from these higher end, like a competitor type cameras. Where's the X Pro 4? Why did they take a distance scale clutch off of their lenses? All those little features that almost made it better than Leica are kind of falling away from the system. So I'm worried, you end up shooting with a bunch of XT50s and XM5 type cameras, which are fine, XS20. Those are all fine cameras, but that's just not what I want. I think there's a big market for people like me that walk into a camera store and say, give me the best of X genre of camera. Give me the best EDC you have. And when you're doing that, that means a full frame camera. I know Fuji is rumored to have a medium format fixed lens camera. kind of interested. I'll almost definitely pick it up if they really come out with it. But like as it stands now, you know, you walk in, and if you say that, you get the Leica Q3, right? This is the best everyday carry camera on the market right now. But, you know, this is missing a joystick. It's not interchangeable lens. It's got everything else you could want, though. Great compact form factor, some kind of retro styly vibes. I've got the Helios grip coming for it. I'm pretty excited about that. I think that'll be a game changer for this in terms of ergonomics. It's got the flip out screen, you know. It's got a decent EVF. It's got a distance scale. It's got macro on it. It's got the aperture ring. It's got, you know, it's got a shutter speed. Effectively, it has an ISO dial here, so it's got the exposure triangle. It's got USB-C charging now. So it's very close. But like, it's so disappointing. It doesn't have a joystick. You can't change lenses, and it's super expensive, right? And of course, it's got a full frame sensor in here, a 61 megapixel bomber of a sensor. And then you take something like the Panasonic S9. It's like they had the opportunity to do this. They've done cameras with EVFs and stuff before, but no EVF, no hot shoe, no joystick, no flip up screen, you know, no sensor protector, but the freaking perfect form factor, you know. Again, I guess what I'm really looking for is an interchangeable lens Q3 that has a joystick and a sensor protector, ideally. It'd almost be like you, whoop, bam, marry these two cameras. So I guess what I'm really hoping for in 2025 is just that. Maybe Canon will come out with that AE1 retro camera that will have all these things. Joystick, interchangeable lenses, full frame sensor, good EVF. My fingers are crossed. Maybe Nikon will come out with an update to the ZF that has a joystick and is a little lighter and more compact, kind of in the size range of the Q3 or a Fuji camera. My fingers are crossed. I would really, really love it if Panasonic came out with an update to the S9 that had all these features, EVF, joystick, all that good stuff. You know, I love the Panasonic colors. I love that you can put Leica lenses on this bad boy. So my fingers are crossed. OM system, OM3. You know, no joystick. What are you doing? Maybe they'll come out with a pen F with a joystick. My fingers are crossed. Leica, you know, just come out with an interchangeable lens Q3 with a joystick, or an M body with an EVF. I don't really care about autofocus. You know, I care about having an EVF along with all the other features of the Q3 and a joystick. My fingers are crossed. So yeah, I just don't get it. I don't understand why this is so hard. Why can't I get a high-end, everyday carry camera that's got all the features of almost like a flagship, but is small, compact, and fun to use? And it has a joystick, and an EVF, and a flip-up screen. Is it really asking that much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.